CALIBAN'S hand is the latest exotic to release in Destiny 2 to the Hunter class, and initially when it released, you know, it was kind of disappointing. It was pretty underwhelming, but it turned out that these gloves were actually bugged, and recently Bungie actually fixed them. And boy, did they fix them. Let me tell you, this exotic might be the most fun exotic in the game for hunters today. It is ridiculous how much fun you can have with this exotic and a proper build going into even endgame content in this game. So let's start at the top. So here we're going to show the build in all its glory, and then I'll get into mods and all that kind of stuff for the build itself. I just want to show off the raw power of the damn thing. And as you can see, the knife quite literally just does not give a damn about any enemy that's not a champion. It shreds through absolutely everything, instantly making me wells, instantly letting me heal, recharging my knife, letting me throw it over and over and over again as much as I want, as long as I keep getting kills. And every single red bar that gets even touched by the pinky toe of this thing, they instantly die, and then you get more wells, and you just repeat the process. It's so extremely fun to do, especially you basically don't use your energy weapon or your primary at all, and the only reason you use your heavy is because you can't one-shot champions. Other than that, you clear wave after wave after wave of every enemy that you want. The only thing you just have to avoid is standing next to the knife or throwing it at your feet, because that can kill you. Other than that, it will shred through absolutely everything. Speaking of shredding, in case you're wondering, this is a master lost sector where everything is 1590, and they're just getting obliterated by absolutely every single knife and blowing the enemy up like I'm on a 4th of July parade. I absolutely love the fact that I can just place the knife anywhere, and as long as I know the enemy is in the nearby vicinity, they'll get blown up. I don't have to worry about anything, and I can focus on the hard target, here being the champions and the Hive Guardians. And also, I can just throw this from a distance, know that it'll get a kill as long as I don't have the aim of a potato, and I can move on to the next section and zoom through this lost sector or whatever activity I may be doing, you know, farming strikes, for example. Then we'll move on to the boss room, and you guys will see, well, I'll just leave it just to watch, and you'll see what I mean in a second here. I absolutely love the way that this goes down right here. Bam. Literally everything besides the boss just gets nuked, and then the boss himself also gets destroyed by Blade Barrage. Then you move on, finish up the champions with my Lament, and then just for giggles, I decided I'm gonna throw a knife at him. You know, why not, right? Just throw a knife at everything in the room. It's not like they're gonna kill me, because I have well procs going on. I have Classy Restoration in my back pocket if I wanted to. I could have finished this lost sector like 20 seconds ago, but I wanted to massacre every last hive in here with my knife, because this is just so damn fun to do. So, yeah, that's the build. Let's just go into mods and stuff like that now. CALIBAN'S hand says, your proximity knife scorches targets, it damages with its explosions, or ignites targets on final blow. After throwing a proximity knife, you gain increased melee regeneration until the knife explodes. So essentially, your knife can be a mini nuke to rank and file enemies in the game. And this makes things so much fun. Let me get started with the class first. So here we go, we're on Gunslinger. You can run anything you want here, Goldie or Blade Barrage. Obviously, Blade Barrage is preferable due to how much it got buffed recently. Then, in the knife section, you want to have on the proximity explosive knife for this build to work properly. And then for grenades, you can go with any choice, but if you want damage, I go fusion. And if you want survivability, just in case you get into a pinch, you can throw on a healing grenade. Quick note, once Classy Restoration is gone after the season ends, you can run healing grenades to put up your restoration / survivability. As for aspects, I have on your mark and knock them down, particularly just to have as many fragment slots as possible. That's really it. Going into fragments themselves, now I want to start with Ember of Wonder. I personally have this on to run to get my 10 resilience out of this fragment, just because you want to have as much resilience as humanly possible on this build. The key is just survivability and spamming knives, so that's my choice for that. However, if you don't want to run that, that's fine. You can actually run basically any other fragment in replacement of this. Particularly if you want, you can put in Ember of Blistering, which says defeating targets with solar ignitions grants you grenade energy. Essentially, you would get your grenade back much faster, and then if you're running healing grenade, because either you're, you know, in a pinch and you need health, or if Classy Restoration is already gone, you can just spam healing grenades while you're killing stuff with your knives over and over for more survivability. Next up, we have Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. So, essentially, you throw your knives, you kill stuff, you scorch stuff. If you need to, you dodge to get your knife back if you didn't kill something, like an orange bar perhaps. And then your ability is just to recharge faster, cycling through them as much as you can. Then we have Ember of Empyrean. Your solar weapons or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied. So you get buff damage and more survivability through this. You can use anything basically that's solar in the game, whether it's Lament, Galahorn, Cataclysmic, Sleeper Stimulant, anything. In the footage you'll be seeing on screen, I absolutely shred through a Master Law Sector while using all my knives imaginable, plus a combo of Lament because there's anti-barriers, but it also heals you on top of that. Then we have Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and your allies nearby radiant. Again, just a damage buff while you're already killing stuff with your knives. And finally, we have Ember of Searing. Defeating scorch targets grants you melee energy. So this build in particular is built in to give you your knife back instantly every time you get a kill. However, if you happen to not get a kill, then it gives you at least some energy back while you're getting it back, and you might not have a dodge. Also, it gives plus 10 recovery on top of that to boot, just more survivability on top of that again. Final quick note, you want to run Gambler's Dodge, just because it gives you your melee ability back. You don't really need to have guns reloaded for this build, because you will quite literally be using your melee 90% of the time. So Gambler's Dodge is the way to go. As far as build stats go, you want to go with the top 3 Trinity: Mobility, Resilience, and Recovery. Resilience being at the top, of course, because it just gives you built-in damage reduction at a ridiculous rate. Then Recov to heal you as fast as possible, and you would want Mobility to get your dodge back as fast as possible in case you lose your knife. So for this current season, let's talk about mods. On your class item, currently, right now, you just got to go with Classy Restoration because it's just absolutely ridiculous in every way possible, and it just makes this build even more over the top than it is. Also, you can slap on things like Solar Formation, where your ignitions do increase damage in an increased radius, just for more explosions. Now, once these are gone at the end of the season, you can replace them with things like Utility Kickstart, which says when your class ability energy is fully expanded, which basically is when you use your dodge, you gain class ability energy, so just helping you get your dodge back faster. Also, you can stack this mod. Another mod you'd be able to stack on top of Utility Kickstart would be Elemental Time Dilation. Elemental Well mods that grant you time-limited benefits can now stack, increasing the duration of the effect of each copy of the mod that you have equipped. This is important because we're going to go into the other mods of the build right now, but mainly you're going to be using Melee Wellmaker, making wells, and then you'd be able to use this for time benefit buffs such as Font of Might. So let's move on and talk about those right now. For those of you unaware, Melee Wellmaker says powered melee combatant final blows spawn elemental bills matching your subclass type. Now obviously we're going to be running solar with the knife. Every time you get a knife kill or even an explosion of that knife kill from having a proximity detonate on the ground, you will make an elemental well, which then you'll pick up. By picking it up, by default, you can activate Font of Might if you feel like it, which would give you a damage buff for any weapon that you're using that's solar. Now, speaking about picking up wells, let's talk about Seeking Wells. This is a mod a lot of people sleep on. It's just underrated, plain and simple. What it says is elemental wells you create will move across the ground towards nearby players. So, let's say you're in a solo lost sector run, and you just happen to knife an enemy away, let's say like 5 feet away. With this mod, you don't have to travel those 5 feet just to pick up that well mod and get your damage buff. The well mod makes it so that the well comes to you, and you can keep doing what you're doing, aka blowing up literally everything in the room. Going on the theme of stacking wells, we have Well of Life, which allows you to pick up an solar elemental well, and that grants you increased regeneration for a short time. So you, again, are just stacking on your healing factor, on your abilities of regenning as fast as possible, getting your knife, grenade, and your dodge back, etc., etc. And then finally, to stack with that, we can also run Bountiful Wells. So Bountiful Wells says elemental well mods that cause you to spawn elemental wells can now stack, spawning additional wells for each additional copy of the mod that you have equipped. Needless to say, you'll never be dry on well spawns, and this also is not a complete mandatory mod. You could totally swap this out for anything you want. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want, you can slot in Font of Might for a damage buff. Perhaps even you want to go the route of having an elemental charge build, and you want to get charged with light, and then stack that with high energy fire or loosened blade. Also totally fine. And that is it. Let me know what you guys think. I personally enjoy this build very much, and I think it probably is the most fun way to play Hunter currently in the game until we get Arc 3.0, which I'll be testing out, of course. If you enjoyed this video, a like, a share, or a sub would be appreciated. And also, let me know if you want to see other build videos, whether it's Hunter, Titan, Warlock, and maybe check out another obscure exotic or maybe a buffed exotic that they fixed, and see what I can mess around with builds like that. Right now, I'm focusing on Solar 3.0. Arc 3.0 is, of course, around the corner. Maybe I'll revisit Stasis. I don't know. We'll see. You guys let me know. And then hopefully enjoy the build when you do it yourself if you have the exotic. If not, good luck hunting for it. And that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. And don't forget to check out Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Clan, everything, all that good stuff in socials in the description below. And I'm done telling you out. Alright. Goodbye.